What's going on, guys? My name is Carey, and today I'm going to be talking about buying raw land for a manufactured home. Manufactured homes are a great housing option, but it can be difficult to find the perfect spot to put one. I've been selling manufactured homes for a long time, and finding the perfect place to put a new home is usually the biggest obstacle potential home buyers have to overcome. Unserviced properties can be a very attractive option for a new manufactured home because they're usually more affordable. However, there is a lot to think about before pulling the trigger. Right now, I'm looking for a property for the home I'm currently sitting in, which is being used as an office, and raw land is one of the property types that I'm considering. The house I'm in is 27 feet by 60 feet long, so the property has to be wide enough that I can put it on there sideways. If you're interested in buying land for a new manufactured home, I'm going to show you what's involved and some of the pros and cons I'm dealing with associated with buying raw land for a double wide. Let's get into it. Keep in mind, every area is different, and I get people watching from all over the place. So what you have to understand is some of the concepts I talk about may not be the same where you are. I live in an area where real estate prices are extremely high, so a lot of what I talk about is based around affordability. That might not be the same where you are, and that's okay. The first thing you have to think about is what has to be done between the time you buy the property and the time you're moving the house onto the lot. Most of the stuff I'm looking at right now needs a lot of work. Raw land means the property literally has nothing. No sewer, no water, no driveway, and it's most likely going to be grown over with vegetation. Most properties I'm looking at have to be cleared. There's trees that need to be taken down, and the bigger the lot, the more trees, the higher the cost. At every step of the process, I think about how much of this work am I able to do myself, if any, and how much is it going to cost to hire a professional to do the stuff that I'm not going to be doing. Raw rural land can seem like a steal until you realize just how much time and money are needed to get it to a point where you can actually move a house on. When you've figured out how much it will cost to clear the lot for the house, you need to start thinking about everything you're going to have to add to the property. Every property needs a few common items. It needs water, it needs power, and it needs a way to get rid of waste. If the property is located within a town or city, it most likely, not always, has access to the city sewer and water. However, there are cases when a property is located within the city limit but still doesn't have access to the city services. Or if you're looking at a property outside of the city, which I'm currently doing, you're most likely going to have to install a septic system and a well. That's a lot more expensive than connecting to the city services. I just got a quote for a septic system on a property I'm looking at, and it was over $20,000. Again, I'm in Canada where everything is a little bit more expensive, so if you're watching from the States, that's probably going to be closer to $8,000 to $10,000, maybe less. I'm not really sure. That's just the way it goes. When I do find and purchase a property for this house, I'll make sure to do a full cost breakdown every step of the way. So if that's something you're interested in, you might want to hit the subscribe button. When the land is cleared and the services are taken care of, you have to decide what you're going to put the house on. In my area, the options are gravel pad, pilings, concrete pad, crawl space, or basement. The house I'm in is drywall, so gravel pad is definitely out of the question. I'm not a huge fan of pilings. In my opinion, it's close enough to a full concrete pad that it makes sense to pay a little bit extra and get that nice clean look under the house. The house right now is sitting on a concrete pad. It's a nice solid base and usually prevents any cracks in the home, but never say never. People always ask me which option is best, and it's like everything. It depends on the situation, and every situation is different. Most of what I do is manufactured homes on frames, so I tend to lean towards gravel pads and concrete pads because, like I mentioned before, I live in a very expensive area, so affordability is always on my mind. Other people like to do modulars. All that means is it's built to a different code and is most likely designed to go onto a crawl space or basement. The only thing that matters at the end of the day is what works best for the end user, the homeowner. I first mentioned I was looking for a property about a month ago, and here I am 4 weeks later still looking. So I'm going to share some of the pros and cons of raw land that I see from the perspective of someone who's actively in the market looking. Pros: the cost. The more work a property needs, the less money people are willing to pay, which means this can be a more affordable option than others. Size. If you get outside the city limits where most unserviced lots are, they tend to be quite a bit bigger. Now for the cons. Cost. This applies to every vacant lot, but it is a lot harder to finance something without a house on it. What makes it even more tricky with raw land is you have to come up with half down for the property and then pay out of pocket for the upgrades like the septic, the power, and the well. Work. Raw land is going to be more work, especially if there isn't access to city services. However, as I mentioned in the pros, this means that the property is likely going to cost less and you can make some money on sweat equity if you are able to do some of the work yourself. Maintenance. Having a septic system and well just gives you one more thing to maintain. It isn't a deal breaker, but it is one more thing that you're going to have to think about. All in all, I think raw land for a new manufactured home can be a great option as long as you get it for the right price and aren't afraid of a little bit of extra work. By the time I post this video, I will have made an offer on a piece of land outside of town that I've been looking at for this house. So if you want to follow along and see the entire process of preparing land for a new manufactured home, be sure to subscribe to my channel because I'm going to document every step of the way, assuming they accept my offer, of course. That's all I've got for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. You'll have to excuse the noise. I am right beside the highway, but I wanted to show you for reference the outside of the house that I'm looking for a lot for. This house is 60 feet long and I want to be able to set it up on the lot the same way you see here. So you come down the driveway and this would be what you see rather than having it lengthways on the lot and you'd come down and see the end of the home. So that's kind of rare to find to begin with, a lot that's wide enough to put a 60-foot house across it. And that's part of the reason that I'm having a little bit of trouble finding it. But you know what? If you look long enough, eventually something will come up. It just hasn't yet. So this is a super nice house, a little over 1,600 square feet. And as soon as we can find a lot for it, it'll be a nice house for somebody. This is the end of the house, and the other option, if I can't find something wide enough to put it across the lot like I just showed, I could put it this way, having this facing out. I just don't think it looks quite as nice as having the home across the lot. You can see on the ground there, a piece of our sign blew off in a windstorm and took off the gutter in the top right corner there. So we are waiting to get that fixed. That was absolutely crazy. So this is the other option. Let me know what you think. Should I have it facing front this way or have it facing across the lot like I just showed? What do you think is the better option?